I just want to say thank you for being a part of Daily Praise TV. We are excited to have you as our guest. We are excited about the Andrew Shannon Gospel Music Celebration that's coming up. The celebration has been a cornerstone of the Newport News faith community for years. Can you tell us about the origins of this event and just how it has evolved into the ministry, if you will, as it is in this celebration?
I met him. A young man was murdered down the street from our old location at the gas station, and the community, although I didn't know the young man, they wanted me to do the funeral, and I did, because I don't charge for that type of tragedy, and they didn't have a church home, and so they asked me to do the funeral, and I said okay. And he had a parade he usually does in the wintertime for the King holiday, and he asked me to be a part of it, and that's how I met him. And we walked and we stopped by the gas station and prayed and marched from all the way down to the community center around down the street. We did like a mile and a half, something like that. It was good.
Wow.
It was I don't think it was snowing that year, but it's never hot. I know that. It's always cold. And so it was good because Black people, white people, Hispanic people, it was so many different type of races and ethnicities and religious backgrounds. It was a beautiful thing. And so he does it every year, and we partner with him every year.
New Beach Grove Baptist Church is hosting this year's event. What led you to open your doors to the various artists that you have coming in? We're going to talk a little bit about them, but what really brings your heart to this event for the community itself?
I love it because, it brings the community together. It's a great time. He has a parade in the daytime that day and then tops it off with a concert. I mean, he's had, other people, Corinne Hawthorne,
Right.
J.J. Harrison, Kaylin Carr.
This year's headliner, wow, is really, this young man is a tremendous blessing. He, a lot of people refer to him as Christian R&B, if you will. That's Jordan Armstrong. First of all, this particular artist, as we mentioned, Christian R&B, that's the genre that they label him to be in. And he has hits like My God, which is topping the charts. How do you feel about his style of music, and how do you feel the community within church is going to receive?
So I'm just being introduced to Jordan Armstrong, and if he represent the kingdom, I listen to My God. I said, oh, okay. And a lot of people at my church didn't know who he was, but they definitely about to get exposed to him now. So it's going to be an awesome thing because the Bible says I make you fishers of men.
That's right.
And so you don't catch catfish with the same bait you're trying to catch trout
That's
with.
right,
You don't catch
Pastor.
trout with the same bait you're trying to catch shark with. You use different bait to catch different types of fish. And a lot of times the church try to use the same bait all the time, thinking they're going to catch different types of people. But everybody don't listen to the same genre. Now, I thank God for Kurt Franklin and
Right.
Yolanda Adams. They the one brought me into gospel. So now, some of the people I listen to now, if I didn't get brought in softly with Kurt Franklin and Yolanda Adams, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
I never probably would have been listening to too much gospel music. And even when I was called, I didn't.
Right.
I just went into it. I was coming up with Tupac and Biggie,
Right.
LL Cool J. You know what I'm saying? But when they came in with that flavor, with that different hip hop type flavor and that R&B feel, it definitely pulled me into listening to more gospel music. So I'm sure this man here, Jordan Armstrong, is going to bridge the gap and bring other young people into the kingdom, and they'll be able to, get into the gospel flow a little more than they are now.
You keeping it diverse because you have Maurice, Yancey, and One Accord.
Well, I know Maurice because we play basketball, so that's how I know Maurice, brother Yancey.
So, Pastor, we're gonna move on to the next artist that you have, WALT-LEON, who is a Christian rap artist, and he's known for his high energy performances, and he takes a lot of his gospel messages and combine it with really great modern rap beats. That's something that I think is going to really resonate with your young people. We talked a little bit about Tupac back in our day and things of that nature. I think it's so important to have artists like WALT-LEON to come in and the Jordan Armstrongs to really meet this generation.
Young people, it's getting more. The crazy thing is, since the pandemic, it might have become more diverse than it was,
Right.
because we kept, we had drive-in church, and We had
Right.
movies, drive-in movies going on, so people were coming and getting to see. Cause I just felt like they needed to get out the house, so I brought drive-in movies back. So once they started back going to the movies,
Wow.
they wanted me to keep doing. I said, I'm not gonna kick against the industry. They're trying to make their money again. But
Right.
um, but I would say it might be 20%. 20 if you say young people, it's like if you saying young people like up to 30, 35, 40, it might be like 30, about 30%.
All right, Pastor, I do want to ask you specifically, we want to talk a little bit about ministry. I have been to your church a few times. Actually, I've come to your church when you have actually allowed other ministries to host their events there. Tell us a little bit about your mission. What is important to you? What do you want people to know and remember most when they come to your church and visit? What do you want them to take away?
Well, I guess takeaway, we always about the community, so we want to help people. I believe in holistic ministry, so I preach on Jesus, of course, because that's the foundation of our faith, the cross. But I'm gonna teach on finances. I'm gonna teach on real estate. I'm gonna teach on health. Right now, we're partnering with Centera Health, and they're teaching on my Tuesday night Bible study, and they taught things like health in motion. They doing exercise and health in breathing, teach you how to breathe, health in eating, and they teaching you how to cook healthy meals. So I just believe in the holistic things. I believe the church is supposed to touch everything about you. To me, how you gonna be the head and not the tail, above and not beneath, if you're not in the marketplace teaching people how to take control over their lives? I know a lot of times we ask for tithe and offers and give to the church, but what is the church giving to them? What is the church giving to the community? So our vision is building kingdom-minded people to serve the community, and that's what we do. So if anybody needs anything, they know they can come to us. Even though people may not go to church, if someone in the community is murdered, if they need me to do the eulogy, I do the eulogy. We don't charge anything for the funeral, and don't judge anyone because you never know where they came from.
There is a lot going on. We've got a major election that's coming up, and it's a lot. But we could very well have the first female president. What are your thoughts on that?
Henry Ford had a profound statement. He said one day there will be a female president. It's not going to happen a traditional way. Either the incumbent president is going to have a female vice president and have to leave office or die, or
Wow.
something untraditional is going to happen, and that's the way it's going to happen. He said, but once it happens and a female gets in there and they see how well they do, it's going to be hard for a man to get back in there. He said that, just prophetic.
Y'all really need to follow this pastor on social media. He drops a lot of nuggets. So, Pastor, I want you to tell everyone how they can follow you.
Everything is Willard Maxwell itself. My
Okay.
Instagram, you got to put a dot in the middle.
Pastor Maxwell is being very humble. This man teaches, he's heavily into real estate, been in real estate since the 90s. Very educated man. He teaches all different types of courses, and I'm just not going to let him leave without discussing some of the things outside of this concert that he does that you can participate in, just to further your learning and also further your life. So let's talk a little bit about that before we end this conversation.
Wow, thank you. So I'm a real estate broker. I've been in real estate since 1997. I've been a broker and owner of Maxwell Realty since 2000. I love to empower people, especially my people, to purchase homes. Black people own the same percentage of homes they owned in 1968. When the predatory lending in 2008, we got a black president, but we got a lot of predatory loans. People didn't understand about these loans where 6 months is a balloon note. Most of the time, investors use them, but people that are just buying homes and don't understand how these loans are structured, they could get caught up and lose their home. So you have black people putting down 20% of their money, paying interest only, and then 6 months down the road, they tell them it's a balloon payment, it's due. Maybe they went over it with them, maybe they didn't, but most of the time they didn't understand what was going on, and so they lost all of that money they put down, and the people went and sold their house to other people doing the same thing. And so a lot of us were foreclosed on back in the early 2000s, and so my job is to empower my people and people period to purchase home. But when you buy a home, equity begins to build in your home, you know. So I teach people how to do tax write-offs. I teach them how to purchase homes and flip them. I teach them how to rent them out. I teach them how, if they buy one house and flip a house, how they can do a 1031 tax exchange.
Come on
Which
now.
means you can escape taxes and don't have to pay capital gains on it as long as you buy another house equal or greater value. So it's a lot of different ways that you can, even though you make a lot of money in real estate, it's so many legal ways to write off. You can write it off as if it's a loss and escape certain taxes legally. And
Now, let me ask you this. So, you know, everybody that's hearing this, it's like, okay, when is the next class? Or how do we get access? Now, I'm going to put you on the spot because I do webinars online. That's something that's coming to my platform where, and I'm not saying that they're going to get a free webinar, but I want to bring you back in a different setting.
I do one free. No matter, I do it free a lot. So I have a group of people, my overflow investors, and they pay, I think, like $800 for the year. And every month we meet and they have access to me. And I walk them through the real estate process, and most of them end up buying homes.
I know you were doing something for the community in terms of gun violence. You had some type of interview there, but you made time for us today. And that speaks volumes to who you are as not just only a pastor, but someone that cares about the community. So I want to leave you with the last words, Pastor. We're looking forward to the event. Thank you again for just taking the time out to interview with us regarding the Andrew Shannon Gospel Celebration. And I'm going to leave the last words with you.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me on. You do so much for the community. You do so much to promote people like me. Thank you, because I thought I was just interviewing about the gospel concert. So thank you so much, because so many times people don't want to give people that positive energy. They try to tear people down to steal the energy in order to lift themselves up. We need, see, this is what people don't understand. Real estate makes, the only thing that makes more money than real estate is the government. And the government can print more money when it goes broke. You understand? So real estate is where it is for you to curate your own wealth. Right now, I'm not even putting some things in certain retirements because the percentage rate that I'm dealing with my real estate is greater than how the market is right now. So I'm just taking that money and putting it in my retirement and not worrying about the stock piece, because I'm making such a great yield when it comes to flipping and renting out my homes.
Well, listen, I want to say thank you again for being my guest. I have enjoyed this opportunity. And if you could just leave the last words with our listening audience and our viewers, and then I'll leave the last word with you.
All right. Listen, everybody. Look, don't let anyone tell you what you can do. You can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. He gave you power. He gave you an anointing. He gave you a purpose. And don't let people tell you what they can't do, what you can't do, because they can't do it. Even you probably can't do it either. But you know what? You have God on your side, and he said, he who began a good work in you shall finish it. So as long as you start moving towards it and continue to pray and faint not, I promise you, he'll bring your dream to fruition. Don't let anyone tell you what you can't do, because you are fearfully and wonderfully made, and he will bless you. He will give you the victory, I promise you. People told me I was too young. Why you so young getting your license, getting your broker's license? I was like, why you so old? You know what I'm saying? I don't let anyone tell me what I can't do. And when I'm ready to do it, I do it. So once I had my license for 3 years, all you got to do is have it for 3 years. Once I had it for 3 years, I took the test, I passed the test, and I became a broker. So one of the youngest brokers I know in my area at the time. And a lot of people told me what I couldn't do. One lady told me, I know it's a long last word, she said, my son a doctor and he couldn't pass, you're not gonna pass. I said, you know what, I don't want to be a doctor. I took the test, I passed it. When she saw me a few years later, she asked me, did I pass? I said yes. And she just looked at me. If I wanted to be a doctor, I would have been a doctor, but that's not my goal. Just because he's a doctor don't mean he's smarter than me. Apparently he's not, because he didn't pass the test.
God for you. And I thank God for pastors that can laugh and have a good time. Pastor Maxwell, you are the bomb. I'm telling you, you are the bomb. And thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here.